Okay, so our movie is Good Will Hunting, and basic synopsis is this guy is like, he has a troubled past because he's an orphan and a foster kid, and he's like beaten, and then he gets arrested and he's court mandated to go to therapy. Okay, just, the video's on YouTube. It's the first tab. No, it's this tab.
Okay.
There we go. It's on mute.
Oh.
Stanford, you're gonna marry some rich prick who your parents will approve of, and just sit around with the other trust fund babies and talk about how you went slumming too once.
Why are you saying this? What is your obsession with this money? My father died when I was 13 and I inherited this money. The only thing every day I wake up, and I wish that I could give it back. But I would give it back in a second. If it meant I could have one more day with him. But I can't. And that's my life and I deal with it. So don't put your shit on me when you're the one that's afraid.
I'm afraid. What am I afraid of? What the fuck am I afraid of?
You're afraid of me, you're afraid that I won't love you back. You know what? I'm afraid too. Fuck it, I want to give it a shot, and at least I'm honest with you.
I'm not honest with you?
No, what about your 12 brothers?
That's a lie.
No, you're not going, and you're not leaving.
What do you want to know? What? That I don't have 12 brothers? That I'm a fucking orphan? No, you don't want to hear
I
that.
didn't know
No,
that.
you don't want to hear. You don't want to hear that I got fucking cigarettes put out of me when I was a little kid. That this isn't fucking surgery. That the motherfucker stabbed me. You don't want to hear that shit, Skylar. Don't tell me you want to hear that
I
shit.
want to hear it because I want to help you, because I want
Help
to
me?
be
What
with
the fuck? What do I got? A fucking sign on my back that says safe?
Okay, yeah. Escape. So we can see from from this video that he's a young male. He's in his 20s. He's physically developed. He's very strong. We can see his primary and secondary sex characteristics because we know he has a girlfriend and he does it. You can just go to slide 2. It's okay. You don't have to present it because we're going to switch it. All right, cognitive development. He's in the formal operational stage of thinking because he's incredibly smart and he can do theoretical math and he follows his moral compass and he chooses not to work for the large math corporations or the National Security Association. I think that's what it stands for, something like that. And because he's totally against big corporations and working for something that he doesn't like doing. Okay. No. Just keep going through the slides, actually. Okay. Just wait. I'm sorry. No, not that one. The next one. Yes, it's this one.
But I'll take a shot. Say I'm working at the NSA and somebody puts a code on my desk, something no one else can break. Maybe I take a shot at it, maybe I break it. And I'm real happy with myself because I did my job well. But maybe that code was the location of some rebel army in North Africa or the Middle East. And once they have that location, they bomb the village where the rebels are hiding. 1,500 people that I never met, never had no problem with, get killed. Now the politicians are saying, oh, send in the Marines to secure the area because they don't give a shit. It won't be their kid over there getting shot, just like it wasn't them when their number got called because they were all pulling a tour in the National Guard. It'll be some kid from Southie over there taking shrapnel in the ass. He comes back to find that the plant he used to work at got exported to the country he just got back from, and the guy who put the shrapnel in his ass got his old job because he'll work for 15 cents a day and no bathroom breaks. Meanwhile, he realizes the only reason he was over there in the first place was so that we could install a government that would sell us oil at a good price. And of course, the oil companies use a little skirmish over there to scare up domestic oil prices. A cute little ancillary benefit for them, but it ain't helping my buddy at $2.50 a gallon. They're taking their sweet time bringing the oil.
So we can see from this video that he has very strong moral principles and he chooses to not work for this company because he's against what they do. Okay, social development. Alright, so he's in his 20s and he's caught between two stages of identity role versus confusion, like he doesn't know who he is or what he wants to do, and then intimacy versus isolation. So he has a relationship with this girl and it gets really serious. And as the movie progresses, he starts worrying, I don't know if I want to be with her, I don't know if I can be with her, and he starts pushing her away. So he's in between those two stages.
For nature versus nurture, that's the whole idea that genes and environment come hand in hand. So in Will's case, he is predisposed with a more aggressive, impulsive temperament, which then plays in how he reacts to his environment. And his environment also reacts on how he interacts with people. So he is an orphan who was abused a lot by his foster father, and this triggered his gene activity to respond in an aggressive way to everyone he interacts with. for cannonball theory, that's the idea that a stimulus, in Will's case, was his friends bought him a car for his 21st birthday. So when he saw that car, at the same time, he got a physiological response where he smiled, and then that, while he felt the emotion of being happy. For the two-factor theory, Will had the stimulus of seeing the guy who used to bully him in kindergarten, and because of that, he had the physiological response of changing his facial expressions to like eyebrows furrowing and all that stuff, and then he had the cognitive stimulus of saying like, "Oh, I'm mad because he used to bully me," and then that led to the emotion of anger. For gender and emotion, like in the breakup scene, you can see that Will feels that Skylar is patronizing him instead of supporting him, and Skylar is actually trying to be empathetic to his situation, but he doesn't see that, and he perceives it as her trying to attack him, so he becomes aggressive with her. And it shows like the difference between men and women and how they display emotion in the same situation. Fear as an emotion is dangerous, and for Will, he has a fear of emotional pain, and this is a learned fear because as a child he was constantly abused and abandoned, and to avoid this he constantly breaks any relationship he has, like for example with Skylar, because he's afraid of people leaving him in the future. And then for anger, so Will is angry all the time and when men are usually angry, they usually just walk away from the situation. For example, when Skylar upset him in the room, he just left her room and he didn't want to deal with her. And in Will's case, it became maladaptive because he let his anger fuel his physical acts, which leads him to beating a lot of people up, which causes him to get arrested a lot. And then for happiness, in happiness, there's the feel-good, do-good phenomenon, where when we feel good, we usually do good. But Will never really finds happiness. He claims to be content by doing labor jobs, like laying bricks or being a janitor, but he doesn't realize like what he's actually worth. And he never found a reason that caused him to feel good because he's constantly blaming himself for his unhappy childhood.
More happiness. Rule 2. So Will doesn't show any he doesn't fit into the DSM characteristics of any psychological disorders, but what he has is like anger, and that's like the most maladaptive part for him because he ends up beating people a lot. He has really bad relationship skills. Okay, so effectiveness of psychotherapy. So Will's really reluctant and uncooperative at first, so it takes like a really good solid foundation for him to make sure that his psychotherapy is effective. So we can say this one.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Well, the pressures, and I'm not judging them, I'm not labeling them, but they are destroying your potential. There are no more shenanigans, no more tomfoolery, no more ballyhoo.
You're right. God, I know.
And you're not going to get off that easily. Come on, Bill. Bit more.
Well, I mean, I do things, you know.
What kind of things?
I do things that, I hide from people.
You hide, do you?
No, I mean, I go places, I interact, you know.
Really? What sort of places?
Just certain clubs.
Well, that's nice, yes. What sort of clubs?
Like fantasy.
Fantasy.
Okay.
Bit more.
It's just something like when you get in there and the music like owns you. It's like that house music. It's like bum 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 boom 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 boom. You know, you start dancing.
Boom, 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 yes.
Yeah. Do you find it hard to hide the fact that you're gay?
What are you talking about? What?
Look, buddy, 2 seconds ago you were ready to give me a jump.
A jump? I'm terribly sorry to disappoint you.
Hey, look, I don't know. Old are you?
another therapist.
This is after the first one. He like breaks up with
What do you see? Something's in my room. What is it? It's like it's a figure. It's hovering over me. You are in a safe place, Will.
Stay